Welcome back to the podcast, everyone. Today I'm with a very special guest, the one and only Lundon Avery.
Yes, sir. What's up? How y'all doing, peoples?
Hell yeah. So it's been about 2 weeks now since you released your newest album, self-titled album, Lundon Avery. How's the how's the critical reception been so far?
So far, it's been pretty good. Pretty positive reception. Especially on like a couple of my singles. But yeah, pretty good overall. I'm excited.
Hell yeah. So I see that like your monthly listeners right now on Spotify are like 11,000. So where were they before this album? Were they still? Did you have a pretty decent following before that, or have you seen a huge jump since then?
It's been just slowly, like climbing. It started off at like my first album I dropped. It kind of like plateaued around like 1,015. Then I started releasing the singles for this album, and it climbed up to like 5,000. Dropped another one like 7,000. So it's been good organic growth. So
That's dope. You don't seem like an artist who really drops a lot of singles. Are you someone who like releases albums and then like with the latest project, it seems like you did release a few singles leading up to the album. But are you someone who focuses on just dropping singles that don't line up with an album at all, or?
yeah, I like dropping singles that line up with the album. I'm just very strategic when it comes to release because my music is like very precious to me. Like um, so like sometimes I tend to sit on it a lot, but as of lately, I'm trying to just not sit on stuff anymore and kind of like just let the world hear what I've been working on.
Hell yeah. So your previous project, The Tale of Two Cities, is that the first project you ever dropped, or like I know some artists before they drop like a project they're actually proud of, they'll release all these mixtapes, and then once one project gets some attention, they kind of like hide or delete those other projects.
Nah, that was my first project ever. Like I had released one single before, like a couple months before then, but like that was really. I Tell Two Cities was my first anybody hearing music from me besides production. I was really
Wow.
focused on production before then. Yeah.
So how long have you been doing production before you started doing singing and rapping?
I've been doing production since like high school, like freshman year, really. I really started focusing on it when I graduated and
Mm-hmm.
took it seriously. Um, but yeah, so almost like 10 years now. It sounds crazy, but
Jeez, how old are you?
I'm 24.
Oh wow, it's a long time coming then. Damn.
Yeah, I've been doing
S
this for a minute, man.
Wow. So I don't know anything about Illinois, but you came from a city called what is it, Pierre?
It's Peoria, Illinois. It's like an hour and a half outside of Chicago. Like I spent my early years in Chicago, but I moved to Peoria at like 4 years
Oh,
old. That's really the city that kind of raised me, made me the person I am. It's
mhm.
it's it's that city's a lot. You feel me? It's still the ghetto. We don't really have a lot of people to look up to, but even we got people like Richard Pryor, Sean Livingston played for the Warriors, but yeah, it's definitely the trenches, as they
Damn.
say.
Is there is there like a music scene there, or when people think of like music in Illinois, are they just focusing on kind of like Chicago area?
Yeah, they go straight to Chicago. It's not like a lot of. It's not that it's not a lot of talented people in the city. It's just people in Peoria. They don't really have the outlet and the platform to be seen. So it's kind of hard to like be in that city and make it without making it out first.
Right. So for you, were you able to focus on? So was it easy for you to focus on music, or were you more focused on like you're saying it's the trenches? Were you more focused on just surviving, or was music like an outlet for
Well,
you?
honestly, music was always like kind of like a oasis. Um, it kind like the environment kind of drove me to music to, just stay out of trouble and to like, it's therapy. Like shit, a lot of shit goes on in the trenches, and so like music was always my way to like express how I felt about it and yeah,
You sur-
just kind of
did you
deal with it
surround
honestly.
Did you surround yourself with a lot of musicians growing up? Because I understand like you were in like the band and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, like I said, it was Oasis. So any way I could be around the music, I knew it would distract me from a lot of the bullshit. So if I could find any instrument, I was trying to touch it. Like the church, school, I was in the school band. Like I would I would go to the church like after service and just try to play any instrument that I could. But yeah.
Wow. So what got you into
Then
rapping
my
versus? Oh,
so honestly, I never really was a rapper until I was like I said, I started with production, and
mm-hmm.
then because my cousin was a rapper out of Rockford, Illinois, which is another city outside of Chicago. But like my freshman year, when really started production, like he was killed at my granny's house. So after he passed away, I kind of just focused on trying to figure out how to do it myself, and try to fill his shoes in some type of way and do it for him.
Wow. What software were you using at the time?
I started off on Ableton, then I finally saved up enough money to get a Mac, and I bought Logic, and I've been rocking with Logic ever since.
Damn. So how did you get into producing? Did you have friends that were teaching you how to produce, or were you just self-taught, like YouTube, things like that?
I always I always loved music like since a baby. I taught myself piano at like 3 years old, so it was really just a transition of, and I always loved technology too. So it was really just merging both my loves of technology and music to it just made sense to start producing. And then my cousin started rapping, so I was like, yeah, it just made sense at the time.
Were you producing for your cousin at all?
Yeah, I made my first beat for him like a month before he passed away. I mean, I never even got to hear the song.
Damn. I I
Yeah,
I
it's
I'd
crazy.
heard I'd heard previous interviews talking about your cousin. That seems like that was like a pivotal
Yeah,
person in your life. And
yeah. Like that was him, his brother, and my two older brothers. Like growing up every summer, every weekend, like we were like this, bro. Like really close,
damn.
really close.
So and I also heard that you grew up in like the ghetto and then you moved to like the suburbs. So from the outside perspective,
Yeah,
it almost sounds like a Fresh Prince of like Bel Air type deal.
yeah. I can't wait to write a movie about that shit. It was like, cause growing up in the hood, you like honestly, you always think about like what it'd be like to live in the suburbs. You see shows like Zoe 101 and shit. Like they have all these cool ass technologies and shit. You think everything is gonna be so perfect, but then my freshman year after my cousin got killed, his brother was murdered a couple of months after. Then both my brothers got locked up and sent to feds. My mom
Wow.
was like, "Nah, like you got to get up out of here." So I ended up moving to the suburbs because my dad had got a job out there, and I went to school out there, and it was a way different experience. Way different experience.
Jeez. Was it still in Illinois? Was like your whole entire childhood in Illinois, or did you switch states?
Yeah, it was still in Illinois. It was like the crazy thing about Illinois, like it's like pockets, because you can be in the trenches, and then in 30 minutes, it's like $1 million houses,
Wow.
but they are like in their own area, protected. Like it's crazy.
Hmm. So how did you end up in New York from Illinois? Like, did you go to school that brought you out there, or was it music that brought you out there?
Just the music. My label, New York Lab, and my management, Noble Media Management, is based in New York, so it just made sense because it's easier to communicate and just get work done out here. And yeah, I've been out for like 6 months now, and New York's been good to me so far.
Damn. How long have you been part of a record label then?
Since I came out here, like almost a year now. Like right before I came out here, we kind of put this shit together, and we've been moving ever since.
That's dope because like because I'm part of like the Seattle music scene, and a lot
Uh
of
huh.
things, a lot of people feel like they have to have like a certain amount of numbers Some people think it's the connections, but a lot of people feel like it's the numbers that you need to be able to get signed to a record label. But you, like we were just saying at the beginning, like
Uh-huh.
you had like around 1,000 subscribers or whatever. So how did a record label
I feel
find
like
you?
I was blessed enough to like, I don't know, really be able to rely on my music to speak for itself. Because like like a lot of labels really do look at the numbers, but every now and then you get like some good A&Rs and people that actually respect and love music that can look past that. And yeah, I'm really appreciative of that because like I said, I did I did have the numbers, but that now they helping me reach the goals because they had faith in the music, and now it's doing what it's supposed to finally, and slowly just going up and up.
That's awesome. So what were you doing in your point in life when they were reaching out to you? Like were you working like other jobs or were you in school?
Oh yeah, I was working a lot of things. um yeah, I was hustling, and I was working with my pops. He has a company, a sports management company.
Oh wow.
Just working with him, and doing whatever I could to stack my bread up.
So what's a sports management company? Can you talk more about that?
So basically, we go to different universities, and like specifically track and field. Like we do like the fully automatic timing and scoreboard displays, and I do graphic design and stuff for the scoreboards, and
Oh
little
wow.
cool things. Yeah, the motion graphics and stuff. Any way that I could cash a check, bro.
That's dope. How'd you get into graphic design? I love like with my podcast, I've been teaching myself like film editing and like I make like cover art for every single interview, so it's almost like an album art.
Mm-hmm.
So I love that stuff. How'd you get into
Literally,
it?
literally that, because before I got into this situation in New York, I was kind of just doing everything on my own. Like, so if I needed graphics for my music, I had to do it because or pay somebody to do it. But
Hmm.
I'm always the type of person that if it could be done, then I want to learn how to do it. So I
That's
just
dope.
kind of taught myself YouTube, trying to figure it out, and then I figured out it can make me money in other ways, and then I just pressed the situation.
So when you released your Tales of Two Cities project, I'm guessing you didn't have like a management or anything like that. So how
No
did you
management.
how did you figure out like how you were going to release that project? Because if you didn't release any music after that, really, unless until you released this latest project, how did you how did you promote your Tale of Two Cities project?
That was a problem. I didn't really have a I was always very good on the music side of the music business, but as far as the marketing and stuff, like I wasn't good with that shit because I just dropped it. No promo, no
Wow.
nothing. Um, and it still did pretty good for just dropping it, but like now I know like is a way better way to do this shit, and shout out to my label and my management for you know
Damn. Were you did
yeah
you
getting it
see
together.
you were in high school when you released it, I'm guessing. So did your like school support it at all? Like did you have like friends or kids being like,
Oh
"Oh
no, 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 no!
shit."
I was just out of high school, and I
Okay.
moved to Atlanta. As soon as I left high school, I moved to Atlanta. So Atlanta supported my project a lot. A lot of the because I was producing, so a lot of the artists and stuff that I had produced for, um, they really helped me support the album a lot.
Damn.
But
So,
yeah, my school, like my school supported it too. My old high school supported it too.
hell yeah. So what brought you out into that's crazy. So you went from Atlanta to New York. So what brought you to Atlanta?
Yeah. I was just trying to get out of Illinois because I hated the suburbs, and the trenches wasn't safe. So I tried to, I moved to Atlanta, and I had opportunity to have an internship at Grand Hustle
Oh shit.
in Atlanta. Yeah, so as soon as I got that job, I was out. I graduated May 27th, and I was in Atlanta on 28th.
Wow.
Yeah, I got out of there.
Damn. So when you how did you get the Grand Hustle internship? You just applied for it, or?
Honestly, one of my like my mother's cousin, Lazar Gray, shout out Lazar Gray, Big Czar. He was a producer for like Young Dro and Ti
Oh shit.
and all those guys at Grand Hustle. And when I was producing in high school, I would just upload videos on YouTube of me remaking beats or making my own beats and stuff like that. And he I guess he saw one of the videos and he just reached out to me and he was like, "Yo, I think it would be dope to do an internship. It's not paid, but it's great opportunity to meet and learn the ropes." And that really helped me out a lot because I learned a lot working at Grand Hustle. Shout out Defiance Studios.
Damn. So when you're interning there, did you meet any like famous artists also?
My first week, I was working the front desk and Ti walked in and just shook my hand like he knew me his whole life.
Oh
And I
shit.
met Young Dro, Iggy, B.O.B. Yeah, I was around a lot of people, and it was really a shock coming from Peoria, Illinois, where nobody, even the famous people don't even come back.
Damn, that's crazy. So why do you think? Is it just because of the area? That's why do you think famous people don't come back to Pierre? It's not like the greatest place to live,
I
or why do you
mean,
think it is?
yeah, it's not the greatest area. Like I said, it's not a lot of opportunity, or a platform to even really like, and that's really one of my goals is to create a platform to where my city can, display its talent because there's actually a lot of talented people that just always get overlooked because they're not from Chicago or they're not from New York or they're not from LA where, there's opportunity to be seen.
Wow, that's insane. So how did your how did your record label find you? So you had released a project, you moved to LA. Did they just find you on like SoundCloud or something, or?
Um, I met my manager um through a mutual friend, Keith Lawson, another artist, and because we were doing features, like I was featuring on a lot of his songs, and then she just kept asking about me, and then so she ended up reaching out to me, and then saying that there was this label with these kids, Samori and Isaiah, and like Zuri and Mo, and that they were putting together this label, and that they was interested in meeting me. Then we chopped it up on the phone, and we got a partnership with United Masters in November, and that just set everything off.
Wow, that's crazy. So are you able to just focus on music full time now?
Yeah, I'm able to finally focus on my music and just put all my heart and my time into it.
Damn, that's insane. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome now. And now I can actually release music instead of sitting on it because I don't have to worry about being in the streets or trying to get some money, you know?
Wow. So Mavi said that you guys were roommates. How did you come to meet Mavi?
Yeah, this I'm in a lab house right now. We all stay together.
Damn, how'd that come to be?
Well, when we were figuring out the logistics, because Mavi not from New York either. He's from Charlotte, and we were just like, that should be. It'll make it everything easier if we all lived in the same house, just to and creatively and like business wise, like we all just work together, knock shit out, and it's it's fun as fuck living with some cool dudes.
Hell yeah. So it's like the what is that? Like that Phase clan that just plays like Fortnite is kind of like having a house like that's awesome.
Just like that, but for music.
Damn, that is so cool. So you've produced some of Mavi's tracks, is that correct?
I produced on SMH with one of his other producers. We co-produced it, and yeah, it came out really nice.
Dope. When I was listening to your like not your SoundCloud, your Spotify, you guys both were on
Uh huh.
some artist named Camden Malik. You guys both were featured on that
Oh yeah,
album.
Camden. Shout out my boy Camden Malik, bro. Hottest nigga out of Sacramento right now. Telling you, tap in.
Damn, how'd you guys connect with him?
He just pulled up to the lab house one day. I don't know who first introduced him, but yeah, he just pulled up to the lab house one day. And, you know, real niggas link up, man. If you cool and you got good vibes, the lab house gonna love you.
Wow, is the lab house gonna? Is it like Can you like look it up on Google Maps? Like, are you trying to make it a thing where people come through to record?
Oh no,
You're like,
you can't look it up on Google Maps at all. You gotta you gotta know to know. You feel me?
right. So with your London Avery project, you released it during COVID. How was that? A lot of people have been like weighing out whether it's a good time to release during COVID or not. I know during the beginning of COVID, it was definitely harder when like the George Floyd thing happened. So a
uh
lot of people put their stuff on hold. So what made you decide to release it when you did?
Well, first of all, I was just tired of waiting. Like you said, my last album was a minute ago, and also I felt like this is a perfect time. Like people need music, like especially the type of music I try to make. Like I like to make like motivational music and stuff to music to try to get people through situations and stuff like that. So this is a perfect time to drop music. I may not be able to perform on the stage or whatever, but you never know when people need to hear something, because there's certain songs that I heard going through things that really just helped me out. So
Hmm.
I feel like it's selfish to wait when it's convenient for you,
For
you
sure.
know.
Yeah, that makes sense. So what have you learned about yourself during this whole pandemic?
In the pandemic, uh, I learned that I love outside. And I love social interactions, but I also learned that that's a good question. I also learned that to not take for granted like just the little things, like not being able to breathe without a mask. Like I went
Oh God.
to like I just got back from Knoxville and I was just like outside in the not the forest but like a grassy area and just walking around with no mask, and it just felt so like relieving, you know. So
Hmm.
shit like that, like every day walking around without a mask, saying hi to everybody, being able to see everybody, and yeah, that shit I miss that shit a lot.
Where do you see COVID going? Do you think it's gonna end sooner than later with all these vaccines, or how do you feel about that?
I don't know, man. Only God can tell, man. I don't even know about these vaccines or humans tend to fuck up a lot of shit, so we'll see how it goes.
You're right. You're right. So I don't know if we're allowed to talk about this or not, but I've heard that there's some type of ESPN deal or something coming up. I know that your music's been being released on like ESPN channels and stuff. So tell me more about that.
Oh yeah, I didn't even like know about that at first, but my grandpa called me one day saying that my music is on ESPN. I was like, yeah, all right. And then he sent me a picture. They were literally playing my music on like the jump, and they played my song intro during a Lakers game, and that was really crazy to see LeBron dunking to the background of my song is beyond anything I ever see.
That's crazy because you never really hear about an intro song being the biggest song off someone's like album too. So that's so
Yeah,
funny.
yeah. And it was the first single I dropped off the album. Like, as soon as I dropped it, it just got picked up, man. Shit, I was grateful.
Hmm.
You never know which song.
Do you have anything in mind with this album that you just released? Or is there gonna be like any merch, any new music videos coming out?
I got for my song "Shine," which is like the so far has got the best reception like from the album so far. I got a video coming really soon. I don't have a release date yet, but that's gonna be really nice. I got Select Con with United Masters coming out soon. It's a performance of the song "Shine." Um, yeah, I'm trying to put some shows together, but you know how COVID goes, so we'll see how that goes.
Hmm. I know that some venues are opening up. There's like because there's rapid COVID testing coming out and things like that.
Hmm.
So we'll see
Yeah,
how
hopefully
that all comes
we get
along.
some shit worked out.
My favorite song off the project was "Brighter Days." I loved that one.
Oh, you like Brighter Days? That's like one of my personal favorites.
Oh, that's dope.
That's one of my personal favorites.
So, do you have anything else like in the works? Like you said, you've been sitting on music. Do you have music already new music that you're planning on releasing sooner than later?
Yeah. So how I work is um like I got a Tell Two Cities 2 coming out. Well, I'm working on right now. And so what I do is I do a Tell Two Cities, and that's really like my babies. Every time I make a Tell Two Cities, it's my baby because I produce everything on it, write everything on it, and um, record, mix, and master everything on it. So when people hear Tell Two Cities, it's really me in the rawest form possible. And then in between those, I like to collab with other producers, just for different influence and to get out of a box that's just me. And I like to collab because sometimes you get the best shit out of something you would have never did yourself. So, but now I'm getting that, and that was London Avery collabing with my boy Siete, producer out of Connecticut. Sheesh, that boy got some heat, man. He's 18 years old now. When I met him, he was 16 and
Wow,
going crazy, like in high school.
that's dope.
Yeah.
So, living in a music hotspot like New York, has the city inspired you to make a certain sound or anything like that?
Um. Well, right now the city going through a huge drill phase, and that's not necessarily my sound because you feel me. I'm from Chicago, and we had that scene like in 2014. So
Bang
I'm
bang.
kind of over the drill thing. Yeah, bang bang, 300, all that. So I kind of been there, done that. But if anything, the environment itself and like just seeing the city, like and the hustle and bustle, of everybody around has really inspired me and inspired my music. Not the sounds per se of New York.
Did you ever imagine yourself moving to New York, like when you first released your project or growing up?
I
Were you
was
like,
just talking. I was just talking to a friend yesterday. Like, no, I never imagined myself in New York. Like, I don't know. Like, I never imagined myself in New York, but I always loved New York and the culture. I just never see myself living here until 6 months ago, and I was
well,
here. Even when I wake up now, I'm like, wow, I'm really in New York City.
that's dope. And the fashion culture is pretty dope out there too. That must be pretty
Yeah, the
inspiring.
fashion. Yeah, I love fashion out here, and I see why it's so different. Cause shit, you gotta be. It takes talent to be fresh and not be cold at the same time.
Yeah, 100%. That's
It's
crazy.
the,
So, how do you feel about
but they.
these radio stations out here? Now, you got Breakfast Club, you got Funk Flex. I know there's tons of others. I'm just
Hmm.
completely blanking on. Like, are those goals of yours, or like, I know even certain New York artists don't really look. People love to be on those stations, but they're not like I need to be on there to blow up. And now that you're signed to a record label, it's not like you need that to blow up. But is that something you're interested in doing at all?
Yeah, any promo is great, and I definitely would love to do any of those stations. But me personally, I really just love focusing on the music and letting my music speak for itself. And you know, I like talking to cool dudes like you, but
Yeah.
as far as forcing the situation, it's not a big deal to me, man. I just want to be able to make music and have people hear it.
Dude, that's you have a dope story. That's kind of crazy. That's like the perfect. I think that's how people want to blow up, anyways. To like people just to find your music and be so touched that they want to put it on fucking ESPN or they want to sign you and they move you out
Yeah,
to New York, shit like that. That's like a dream come true for so many people.
yeah, it's a blessing, bro. It's really a blessing, and especially in a time like this where you know people feel like they got to do something drastic, dye their hair rainbow, and go do crazy skits and shit like that, bro. I just like genuineness for people to love and respect me for, just being me and not having to go out of my way to grab somebody's attention. Like,
For
because,
sure.
I only need attention. I just want people to get something out of my music if you need it. And that's what I'm here for.
Hell yeah. And I've also noticed that you've been growing your hair out for a while, just like me. And you recently have you just
Yeah,
recently got it in
yeah,
braids?
yeah. I just twisted it like a week ago. It looks crazy right now, but yeah, I've been growing my hair for like 3 years now. I
Oh,
usually rock the curly fro like you. Respect.
hell yeah, man. I 3 years for me as well.
You say you've been going for 3 years?
Yeah,
Gang, man. Yeah, got to.
it's called curls for the girls, right?
Yeah, for the girls, they love it, man. They love it.
Hell yeah. Well, London Avery, what is some advice that you have for up and coming artists, creators, influencers?
Really, just to stick to your true self, man. Because a lot of the influences will tell you got to do this, you got to do that. But if it's not you, it's never gonna work out in the long run. It might be temporarily good, but just stay true to yourself. Because at the end of the day, shit don't work out how you would want it to work out. At least you can say you was always yourself.
Hell yeah.
Um, Second of all, read your contracts. Read your contracts. I'm gonna say it twice. Even if you feel like, even if you have to have somebody sit down and really help explain it to you, don't feel ashamed because they try it. They make it hard on purpose, but um, you know, make sure all your business is correct. All your accounts is right. You got your LLC. You pay your taxes right. Because there's a lot of shit that school don't teach you that will really fuck you up in the long run. Because you might know you might know the formula to slope, but if you don't know how to pay your taxes, that shit not gonna help
Oh my
you.
god, that's great. You're right. So, what is the easiest way for fans to reach out to you?
They can follow me on any platform at Lundon Avery, just Lundon Avery, Avery.
Hell yeah. Anything you want to promote?
Yeah, just go check out the self-titled album, London Avery. It's on all platforms. Find whatever song that you like the best, and whatever songs, and play them to death, and just really vibe out.
Hell yeah. This is the NAST podcast with
London Avery. Thank you for having me. Now.